Two picks coming up for Vitality. Atlas taken away this time for True Rippers, who start with that. Let's see what Vitality do to respond.
With the way that Vitality won last game, they could also completely steer a new way. And Herrera was left open, so we are going to get to see some aggression on the jungle of Vitality. As their second pick, Selena, this is exactly what I said. After winning game one, we could see them take a complete left turn and kind of switch things up here.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't the... That's a hell of a pick. You do not see Selena come out this early. That's a hell of a pick. You do not see Selena come out this early. This is coming from a team that... Oh wait, no, I just realized Coach Panda is with Team Vitality. The last time we saw him in the MSC stage, he wasn't able to fly out, but that was the meta of Atlas at Rome. Selena was one of the picks he wanted to pick up because at least you can set up some traps so that you can get vision. Now, this is surprising to me because the Uranus is one of the responses to the Selena in the sense of, all right, go ahead and waste your Abyssal Arrow onto me so you have a strong front line. But then they pick up a Yi Sun-Shin. This requires them also getting a strong fighter type in the gold, because if they go double carries, it might be too greedy.
Freya's not open.
Yeah.
They could go for, call me crazy, but they could go for something like a Ruby Gold.
You're crazy, but that's good.
But honestly, the Herrera wants to dash in, the Selena wants to dash in. Something that can stiff arm those heroes that want to get up close and personal. It works great along with the YSS. If you want to see at least a fighter in the gold, something bulky in the gold, it could be an option for sure. Beleric gets picked up by the side of Vitality. This is a roamer we've had our eyes on. Is this a first showing so far today? We haven't seen the Beleric yet, I don't think.
So far today, yeah, it's been banned, surprisingly enough, yeah. It's gotten banned out more. Oof. What are they going to pick up at the gold? Actually, that's just my biggest question right now for True Rippers. What are you picking up at the gold lane?
Unless they swap YSS to gold.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, unless they really go a little bit back into the meta and then suddenly bring back YSS in the gold lane.
They have the option. They have the option.
They have the option, all right. They have the option.
We'll see Yi Sun-Shin, the last pick for True Rippers so far. We've got two more to go. As Beleric selected.
God, I'm not used to seeing that face there. I was like, who's that?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Still getting used to the newer portrait. Yeah.
Just getting used to seeing that hero anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. We usually see it in a rank game.
Wait, that's a hero?
Suddenly, it's a meta pick in MSC. Who would have thought? 2026, everyone.
Earlier we said fire sometimes needs to be fought with fire. Sometimes you need to cool it down and try to go the opposite direction. In this case, fast game, fast win for Team Vitality. Do True Rippers try to match that pace and out slug them? Or is this better if True Rippers trying to find a lineup that just survives and just builds towards seeing more gameplay?
It depends on whether they believe they just played bad last game.
Right.
Or if they truly think that Vitality's a little bit better.
What do you believe they think?
We're going to find out.
We'll find out. We don't need to find out for you to believe.
I mean, I don't know yet.
Do you think they see it as a mismatch?
I think they drafted very well last game, right? Like I said, I agree with their draft last game. So coming into game two, whereas it all nerves last game, right?
Yeah.
That's tough, man. That's tough. I already said that I think they should slow play this game. I don't think they should come in thinking we can just go all out. You're up against Indonesia, which is known as a brawly region. They're great at micro mechanics. They're great at going toe-to-toe, especially with regions like this. They're kind of the stoppers for other brawly regions. Don't get me wrong, Vitality have great macro, but they are ready to headbutt with you a bit. So I don't know if that's the direction True Rippers should go, but hey, they might take it there. They got a YSS right now, so they kind of have to.
In the MSC?
Paris gold. If they decide to go for like a fighter in the gold lane, they will
Give me
not
a
have
Ruby
the firepower. Ruby gold, and then they're gonna turtle it out and just hold the fort down for their YSS. With the Selena around, with the Herrera around, that's gonna be a tough ask. Unless True Rippers are gonna surprise us with a pick here. But no, they'll play it stable. They'll go for a double carry, a Gord in the mid, greedy lineup, but they have the damage.
Maybe that's what they felt. I mean, it seemed like the tempo was they wanted to counter-engage, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of understanding that they were going to brawl. The choke comes out, and we were going to deal with the brawl. Maybe they felt they didn't have enough damage to properly punish the counter-engage from Team Vitality. So a different, but I think clear approach, Renmar, and what True Rippers wants to do in Game 2.
Yeah, you can see the idea there. It's just with Uranus games, it's always really good or really bad because your EXP laner doesn't have strong crowd control, but the rest of them do. So the crowd control is there somewhat.
To an extent, yes, you have some crowd control with the Moskov, but again, like, it's more defensive crowd control. And my big worry for True Rippers right now is with how they lacked crowd control last time, they're easily able to get dived on. It's looking very similar.
All right, well, Game 2, will it spell another sub-10-minute win for Team Vitality, or will True Rippers be able to even up the series? Let's send it over to Naisu and Brigitte for Game 2.
True Rippers cannot let this end sub
What do you mean,
10, and
Wi-Fi?
they have to find a way back into the series in order for us to get into a game number 3, but Team Vitality, they just came into this with a Selena mid, very similar to what we've been seeing from their women's division, but also a Beleric XP lane.
Beleric XP, man. I mean, we've been seeing so much of Beleric the past few weeks that, you know, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna go in the XP. There's an arrow landing, Moreno. Okay, Asuna at least holding on to that flicker. Nice little stun with the projectile. Has that damage on Finn too, but will be okay. This is one thing I have to say though too. Yeah, Beleric and the XP. He's running the Revitalize, and so
Well,
just as the panel
in the
mentioned, you know,
official
studio, they said they like to fight.
stream, they
Individual
are
loves to
fighting
fight, and now they can extend them even
in the
further.
comment
Arrows
section.
Land, you're thrown in the air. You have nowhere to go. First blood in the hands of the Maestro.
Yep, the Beleric and DXP lane, I think we are yet to see a successful game from, but the Selena has been very 50-50. We all know for a fact that it has been. In this scenario though, it's been one of the more successful Selena games
Damn.
as she gets 2 consecutive kills in a row.
Brigitte, they said it. You know, this is an ego pick. The fact that Selena was brought up that early in the draft and now you've gotten yourselves 2 kills, you know exactly why it was picked up that early in the draft. So this is a problem that True Ripper is going to have to deal with now for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because you have to worry about you being spotted out and you having to evade all these
Damn,
missile
sorry.
arrows that have
I
so
deleted
far
the
always
message.
been connecting towards the right
What the
targets
fuck?
for Moreno. So it's really becoming a statement right here. The ego pick is working wonders for them if ever it is, because the rotations have been completely disrupted for True Rippers. You don't even see them confidently take control nor show up in the river. Just look at how Shogun is holding down all these bushes and making sure that they keep every single member of True Rippers in check.
Let's see what happens here again.
Calm down, Ethan, calm down.
Extra bushes to work with. They're going to force out the rest of the members of True Rippers here for this fight. Mountain Shock are going to be used too. They're going to come in for the lockdown, and SOD already thrown out. Good kill on Nile. This is what True Rippers need to be able to go ahead and secure themselves an objective. They have all the room to work with right now as EANS will secure the turtle. Fight's going to break out. There's the Gush. And True Rippers, they've awoken in Game 2.
One of the tankiest members extending that fight, actually leading to an advantage for True Rippers right there. I don't think Nile nor the rest of Team Vitality had enough damage to just take down this Uranus, this Rehansha who's been just standing in the way for so long. Even Kimmy just baiting out some of their attention and taking in majority of the damage too, eventually allowing them to get access to Nile. So this is maybe one of the potential workarounds for this draft, is just really sustaining everything as much as you can, because mostly the damage is gonna come, yes, from Moreno. Like the burst damage,
They won the
in terms of
turtle
burst, it's really
fight.
just gonna come from Moreno at this point in Nile. But as long as you get to tank everything, then maybe there could be a way around this for True Rippers.
Yeah, that way is their tanky front line. Vision used. There's a
So
whole
did.
wombo combo for Finn. Another kill picked up here for True Rippers.
True Rippers are starting to be a lot more active than you expected them to be. A really
They are
great
doing
setup on
good
that
this
Fatal
map.
Links, as you've seen, but Rehansha too, the way that he's been moving around, I think it's really big help.
And SOD, again, Suna with a pickup kill. Next one, looking for more in the mid lane. Arrow thrown out. Finn joining the fight. Has a flicker, but doesn't want to risk it, so they just disengage for now. Vitality now in this position where they're second guessing some of these engages against True Rippers, and that's exactly where they want to find themselves currently, because it's just you don't want to give too much over, right? This gourd, we've seen it before. There's a reason why the gourd has really picked up in the meta. You get a couple
Vitality
of
is
kills thrown
being
on it. That Mystic
too
Gush is
aggressive.
a great zoning tool, but it's also obviously a big damage tool.
And India is
that's something they have to watch out for.
taking
Not only
advantage
are
of
you
that.
working around abyssal arrows for Vitality,
Yeah.
the potential for a pick-off with a kick from the Cho, but even True Rippers, this composition has its strengths, and one of them is that amount of synergy that comes with the ultimates plus that gush.
Which is really interesting, because it seems like True Rippers are the ones who are going for the more brawly plays and team fights from this point onwards, but they're setting up for this objective. Shogun finally going to be part of this team fight. We haven't seen the Belleric just yet. Oh, but Finn misses that flicker!
Yep, not the setup they're looking for. Down into the Rapid Dryad to be able to pick up one. Shogun gone. Emon under the Zaman Force. They're still going to be firing off. And if Finn falls again here too. True Rippers fighting a Vitality.
You did
and Emon
enter
trying to
double
get away,
thought.
but
Nice.
will not be able to escape Ransha. True Rippers, they found their footing.
Nice.
If you want to fight brawls, if you want to go
Yep,
all
it's like
out on
FIFA.
team fights, then True Rippers are doing exactly just that. They're playing around Ian, they're playing around Asuna. And even if you wanted, or we wanted to point out the fact that maybe this
But
would be
for
Ian's-
MLBB.
Ians is going to be able to survive just 1 HP.
Yeah. He cannot go down like that. Just as True Rippers were already getting the advantage. But going back, this seems to be a very
Vitality has
straightforward approach for True Rippers.
Yeah.
But it's working
Indian team
out
is
for them really, really
picking
well.
up the
I guess
pace.
we're starting to feel the
Finn.
demands
Oh.
of hope.
Oh, he's going to go for the kill too. Went in for the
Oh.
kick. He is
Oh.
able to get enough health.
Nice.
And Finn is the
Bruh.
one to get punished. A misstep there from Finn.
Yep, so maybe we are starting to feel the demands
Damn,
of
outplayed.
how skill shot based or how mechanically dependent these compositions are for the team Vitality. You really have to layer them out really well. It has to follow a certain sequence, whereas True Rippers can just be in your face. They could just create space, and they could just allow their damage dealer to do their thing. Team Vitality seems to be a bit more precise in terms of the team fight approach.
Oh, Emon. He tries to get away. Pop the Purified too. An engagement.
No,
in the mid lane.
no point in
Some force
reading
drop down.
reading the
There's
chat.
Gush on
Isa.
Finn, trying to escape. An SOD thrown out as well. The Revitalize though helps the fight as they fight back, but Shogun goes down. A arrow thrown out, and now Finn looking for more. They re-engage once more. Nile not able to capitalize on a kill unless he can go back into this fight. He looks for the moment. He goes
Ooh,
in under the
damn.
turret, able to pick up a double kill for Nile. Looking for potentially more. And again, he has the Sky Piercer, so that's 2 stacks.
And they've somewhat turned things around here for Team Vitality, at least for now. They're already able to lessen the lead, but Nile is still being chased by Rehansha here. Okay, we'll get the objective, but Rehansha.
Rahancha, can he escape
Oh,
again?
he'll survive.
He's going to be fine again. This Uranus very strong, and he's had a solid game so far. Again, 3-0-4. He is the bulwark for the team currently, but Vitality shows some fight in them. You know, off of that exchange in the mid lane, plus an objective, they slowly make a baby step in the right direction, but still, True Rippers up amidst it all. Nice little Rapid Dryad there, used up. Garcia will be able to survive, though. Good thing for some backup. Up on the other side of the map, they're going to be going once again on Ians. He falls. Top turret.
Zizara in right hand.
He gets taunted.
It's just
with
so
Shogun.
annoying, man.
He tries to get away. Probably conceal, but Emon won't let it happen.
That
He takes
immune,
the
that dashes.
So much happening all over the map. I might want to take a look at the items right now. I am really eager to see what builds have they been picking up, especially for Cho and
Well,
Belleric, and it seems like
Uranus
they're just
was
going for tank.
showing the map
Despite
for the
that, you can
total.
really feel how much pressure they're actually able to put onto the
But this
opponents,
game will
how
be hard
much
for
they're able
Moscow.
to actually maybe get
They have
out
that
of the
Belleric.
Rippers, but I would want to see more, especially from Finn. Maybe a more accurate way of the dragon and targeting from Team Vitality, and that, even if it wasn't a kick, was a really good one.
Would you call that accurate? I mean, he got the flicker out, right?
He somehow got the flicker out, and I think that's a win for Team Vitality.
That's one of those things, though, with a Cho, you know, across them, you don't know sometimes if they're going to full commit to it or not. Sometimes you're like, hey, it's better a flicker than a death, you know? So that is burned from Asuna, but still, nonetheless, still alive and still in charge, at least for now. barely for True Rippers. Again, they got a turret up ahead of Vitality, plus a little bit of a gold to work with. But this Lord coming up in 10 seconds will tell us a whole lot of where this game is going.
And by the
Why
way,
is
it
my
has
thing
always
popping
been
up?
here in mid. Majority of the action has been here in mid. I feel like Team Vitality, for one, because of how frequent the fights have been happening in mid, Vitality have somewhat taken advantage of that. They've been doing things on other parts of the map, which has really lessened the lead. But Kimmy,
There's a kick right on the mark. They're going to take out Kimmy after
Welcome to the annoying club.
But he's gone. SOD thrown out now on the disengage for Vitality. So they're going to take an advantage of it. True Rippers will take down the tier 1 in mid.
Torrent for
Even down
tank.
a member. Now they're going to potentially get set up around this Lord pit here.
okay, so True Rippers, despite what we were pointing out, just really wanted that tier 1 in mid perhaps, but Finn, does he find another one?
Oh, Finn
Who?
wants to go. G-Kundo. Salmon Force drop down. They're going to force the fight once again in the mid as Ians is taken out. And now next, the taunt comes through as Rahansha falls.
What
And now
build it?
with multiple down
Alt
for True
is just-
Rippers. Lord for the taking here for Team Vitality.
It was just
Too
sheer
annoying in this
damage,
game.
sheer aggression from Team Vitality to equalize this scenario in this game. Shogun might just get caught here with the fatal
Ooh,
links though,
Trout.
but the damage is not enough.
The damage is not enough. The Revitalize is all you need. Kimmy trying to get away, but an missile
Kimmy
arrow will
died
land.
too.
It's a double for Niall again. Stacks on stacks for this Hurrara.
And they will take that tier 1 away from True Rippers just the same. Now the lead, which was in the hands of True Rippers for the longest time, is now over to Vitality, and they also have a Lord. It's been 10 minutes of somewhat team fights happening in mid, skirmishes and scrambles happening here and there, but now it's Vitality who somewhat still have the
Vitality is
better grasp of the
dominating now.
macro and are now pushing True Rippers to defend for
It was
now.
kind of similar
So
for
quick.
the other game.
Momentum to shift
but-
over in favor of Team Vitality. Off of a lot of forced fights or, you know, these skirmishes happening in the mid lane. You can see the stacks here too for Niall. He's got that 44 on the Sky Piercer, and, you know, that's deadly to deal with because the way that we've seen the Hirara played is just kind of in and out. You know, you're utilizing the iframes that you have. You have that good amount of damage. You can kind of weave in and out of fights, and now that you have multiple stacks in this way, you're a big threat to the rest of True Rippers.
Yeah, at least
Hirara
at True
will
Rippers,
be
they had
meta,
a
but
decent wave clear. They were also able to at
Playing
least
her,
take control of that top
most
lane,
of
so
the
they
people
feel as
don't know
much
how to
pressure
play
in
her.
terms of the sync
That's the problem.
of waves crashing.
When to use
There
the
was
first
Mountain
second
Shocker. They
combo
have an
or
idea
when
of
to
where
use
Team
the
Vitality
second first
currently
combo.
are, but they're not gonna focus on a fight just yet. But there are flickers in Team Vitality's hands, so they might have to watch out for that.
Again, a play could be made here by Finn. A BOD was just picked up by Niall as well. Finn right there in the mid. Not sure if he's going to commit to it. Doesn't just yet. Again, Kimmy waiting for that flicker to be available so that he could potentially set something up. I'd love to see this all this time that Garcia has had to go ahead and farm up in the Mozkov to go ahead and turn the tide with a great SOD or, you know, some initiation from the fight from True Rippers because they've got that potential. They just got to go ahead and get the upper hand. Let's take a quick look at the items here.
Yep. They already have the damage. That's the Trinity already built in here for Garcia, and he also has just locked in the Rose Gold Meteor. So even if Lee, let's say, unfortunately gets to take that Abyssal Arrow, he could probably survive an additional hit or two. But that's the thing. True Rippers, I like how they're being very careful about this. They didn't want to force a fight, especially without Garcia in range. But the Wrath of Dryad.
Wrath of Dryad used. Kimmy can't get away, and there's the setup they were
Didn't
looking
see,
for. Right on
man.
target. As Asuna is gone, 2 down for True Rippers. And it was these arrows once again from Moreno that just brought Kimmy low enough for them to collapse down. Just like they'll collapse on the tier 2 turret. There's a push up top from Garcia. But the base turret and mid's going to be worked on here. The minions will be cleared out. Lord is coming up. Team Vitality will
Next
make their
Lord
way.
fight.
Pretty much left with no choice. I like how they're at least getting trades, though. This is different from game number 1. Garcia goes back in, though.
Garcia joins after that, throwing that SOT.
Yeah.
True Rippers will be able to go ahead and hold up on this front side. It looks like they want to go ahead and at least stall out Team Vitality. The rest of the team is up here. Could they potentially take this Lord? They got to dance around these Abyssal Arrows. Niall joined the fight now, too. They're going to be going, looking for a potential fight
Moreno
already for the Lord.
got caught.
Everything already thrown
Moreno
out.
died. Who got the
Moreno's
Lord?
gone. Lord secure,
Ah,
though,
Vitality
by
got the Lord.
Niall. The fight's still breaking out. Finn finally goes down. True Rippers trying to win the fight here. They might
Then
have lost
can
the
they
Lord,
clean
but
up
they can
though?
take more with them. They're going to go for Shogun. They get the
Shogun
stun. It's a
died.
double for Garcia.
And that's when Finn couldn't even land the
Oh,
stuns,
Finn?
wasn't even able
Iman?
to just kick Ian's out of the way to secure the objective. Let's take a look at that replay, because I
Easy
feel
lot
like there was
defend.
a clear attempt, at least from Finn, to just deny the retribution from Ian's here. He was just trying to chase after him, and he did not successfully do
I think
so.
they
But
can
the
get
knockups,
the mid too.
damage, the splash damage that just came from that team fight, which was a really messy team fight at that. It helped so much in terms of how Vitality
No.
were able to just win the objective, and that is what really matters at this point. At least they're not able to hand over the complete advantage to True Rippers, but nonetheless, True Rippers were actually able to
Not live.
somewhat balance out that fight. It's not a huge loss despite them not getting the objective.
Brigida, it was really good usage of the tools they had at hand. True Rippers, I mean, Eons as well, being able to avoid what Finn was. The key members fine with
Am I too back? Ah. My internet is kind of sick though.
Doing great, matching Eman in the gold lane. And the last time we checked, he was
I mean,
actually
most
ahead
of
in
this
terms of goals, so it's not
alright,
great,
man.
but that's a Purify.
What's the problem?
Purify used. They're going to go for the re-engage here. They're going to disengage for now. An arrow is going to be able to land. They're going to force it anyway. A Fatal Links into the Mystic Gush. Moreno off the off angle. Going to be looking for more. Immortality going to be popped from Kimmy. A projectile thrown
Oh,
out.
Niall.
It's a double for Niall.
That is Sky Piercer.
They're able to go ahead and pick up two. Expending a lot of battle spells. And SOD just thrown out. Not going to connect though.
Oh,
Ooh.
iframes,
Nice
the
dot.
iframes.
The
Ian couldn't
iframes.
find the kill.
Finn on the hunt. He
Ooh.
goes in with a flicker. There's the kick they're looking for right
Damn.
into the hands of Niall. Another kill picked up. Team Vitality, what more can they take at this point?
3 members taken down, and they also took that orange buff. To answer your question, they're just really focusing now on resources, because we're about to see a Lord spawning in 6 seconds. But let's take a look. That was a clear counter engage. They had all the reasons to do this simply because
better to just
they already
watch
had information.
the
Ian was
MPL
all
and not
alone. They
read
go
the
for
chat.
chase, and Hirara is just one of the
They are
best
just
heroes to
fighting
rely
there
on in
for no
terms of
reason.
that, and outputting the necessary damage. They're waiting for this. Are we actually going to wait for an entire minute, though? Because the Evolved Lord will take an entire minute. It seems like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Lord secured. Now, at this point, again, it's... Brady, in that situation, right? Backs against the wall. So I don't want to count them out, though.
Yep.
Even with that, that Lord secured, Team Vitality will have to kind of take their time going into this fight because of the nature
There
of the
is a
composition.
chance,
A lot of times, like you
maybe,
said, they're playing around the arrows. They're sort of
if
also
Vitality
waiting to see
did
what
any
Kimmy
mistake.
decides to do with that Fatal Links, because they have to avoid that combo, that Wombo combo we've been seeing so much of. Fatal Links, Mystic Gush, and keeping tabs on Garcia. So with this Lord approaching the base, let's see how True Rippers want to defend against it.
Yeah, it's already full item builds for both gold laners, for all damage dealers. I think Niall's just locking in his last, and he decides to switch it up and pick up a Winter Crown to complete his build, so there could be more creative angles from this point onwards.
Comes the Lord, charging in to mid-turret. Fatal Links was already used too. They'll force it anyways, utilizing iframes with
Ooh, Iman died.
the damage from True Rippers. They're gonna
Niall.
chase down Niall. He's got an immortality, but he's trying to get away. He
Ooh.
could use the conceal,
Ooh.
but an SOD from Garcia will come through.
Damn.
And they still escape, only losing Eman in that fight.
Niall
one
survived
monster
that well.
down, that mid one barely alive. They should be able to clear it out, even with that charged up minion. But wow, we have to take a look at the replay.
That could have been the play of the game if only Garcia was able to find the kills. But looking at
See,
the replay
that
right now, you have
Hirara
to
is
respect
annoying,
the
man.
clear. You have to respect the damage that Garcia and Asuna are actually able to output at this point in time. The way that Vitality have actually somewhat lined up in that particular sequence really favored the damage dealers here from the side of True Rippers, and now they've completely turned things around. They're the ones who are approaching the base.
Ooh.
They go in, Fatal Links used, Mystic Gush already expended. Emon back for the fight. Kimmy's gone, and now they're gonna get chased down in the mid lane. And
Sound
the
of
arrow's gonna
flicker.
land on Asuna. They're gonna follow through as
Asuna got
falls, but
stunned
Garcia
again.
is unleashing once again. Comes through clutch for True Rippers to send Vitality back
2
to
for
the
2.
base.
The double marksman setup is still here.
Moreno.
Moreno,
Ooh.
does he wanna take that on?
No, Moreno, what are you
2
doing?
for
He
3.
went for it, and he gets punished anyway.
That was too
Oh,
late,
trick or treat.
Marksman. You were potentially gonna go up against with the Abyssal Arrow nor the trap not landing. It was a very difficult spot for Moreno at that point. But this was the engage that changed everything. It was that Fatal Links combo, making sure that they found the targets, but I think this was also a sequence of miscalculations from Team Vitality as well. Finn once again did not really land that flicker. At the same time, the entries from Moreno and Nile weren't really in accordance to what they wanted to do. And now we see Ian's falling just before the Lord.
That's a solo kill right there. That's unfortunate timing as the Lord is up. This was the replay, so Nile knew where to go, and he can win that fight. You, as the hero, especially with the stacks, you can win that fight. Now this Lord, an evolved, mind you, will go
Smooth
with Team
jungler for
Vitality because
India.
the jungler is not
Free
available
Lord.
to Rippers.
So much has been happening here, but it's Team Vitality still being able to take this Lord freely from the hands of True Rippers. So they're just waiting, and they
Sorry,
wanted to spawn at a certain
my net is
moment in
kinda
time
sick,
here in this
so-
game. As they take away all the remaining buffs from True Rippers, Lians will take some time to get back in this game, but you're looking at an 80 stacks Sky Piercer. You just cannot allow yourself to get too low on HP at this point.
Yep, that's big stacks right there for Nile, and this is what, you know, was starting to happen throughout the course
Vitality
of the game.
already
That's why
won?
he's such a threat, because not only these waves all pushing in
Really?
on all fronts.
Yeah.
Only 4
How back I am.
It took them a while, but
Vitality will take a little bit of their time, but they'll win the series.
you s-
Hmm.
tough of a
Well,
task when
GG.
they had to go in against the team fights, against the micro mechanics of Team Vitality.
Don't
when
worry,
it mattered
bro.
the most. And now
These
they
are
will
giving
have
away
to go
spoilers.
down to the lower bracket, but you know what's next for Team Vitality.
Welcome, Obagai.
They
Welcome.
have another intense matchup awaiting in the upper bracket. We take a look at the highlights real quick before we throw it on
Well, India
stage,
still has lower brackets.
but it was
So let's
definitely a much better one for
Yeah.
True Rippers.
This, I feel like, again, we saw a bit more of what True Rippers are capable of. Again, this first match on the international stage here for them is a tough one, but this looked a lot more promising than what we saw in game one against a team, you know, like Team Vitality, who has gone through so much through the past year and everything else. And, you know, there's definitely maybe some nerves at play here for True Rippers that they just kind of have to shake off, because the idea, the concept is there. It's just, again, some mistakes really build up, and eventually those mistakes might cost you an entire game or a series.
And that's on top of the fact that they had a really scaling lineup.
Yeah.
The damage that you had to await for a Yi Sun Shin and a Moskov definitely took their time. But Asuna, Rehansha, they were pretty much able to hold it out long enough for them to become a real threat against Team Vitality. Like there were moments like this where you weren't really sure if Team Vitality still could have just closed it out, because even approaching the base, even the Lord Sieges haven't been as clean. They had to deal with
Don't
massive
worry,
amounts of wave
they
clear.
still
But
have the
moment they were
lower
able to take
bracket.
out at least
They can
one,
come up.
everything else
They play
followed. And now
the
we
other
get to hear
game,
from
other game,
our
right?
winners. So let's throw it over to the stage.
Well,
And
Team
talk to them.
Vitality versus Team India was a little unfair. Team Vitality has lots of experience compared to the Indian team in international stage.
Can you talk to me about how the game has flowed so far?
In game one, we just to connect to each other and trust each other and believe in ourselves. Yeah.
In game two, it almost slipped away.
Yeah. In game two, we just need to know our win con in game two so we can get a comeback. Yeah, just like that.
Well, look, MSC 2022, you ended up winning it all. How important is it for you to be back on this main stage, especially now with Vitality in front of the hometown crew, with more and more audience coming as the event proceeds?
I'm so grateful, because here in Paris, Vitality is hometown, and just a little bit pressure, because Vitality is a strong contender also all games. Yeah.
Very much so, not just here in MLB, but also, I mean, already we saw it in MWI, but thank you very much. Next up, you're playing against Falcons PH. It's a tough game. Anything you'd like to say to them for that game?
Just good luck and have fun. We give each other our best for tomorrow. Yeah.
Very much so. Thank you very much then, Eamon. That's it. Team Vitality victorious in their game. What a matchup for them. Very stressful in some ways, but still, we'll leave it to our desk to break it down.
Thank you, Milos. Team Vitality get the win 2-0, but it was anything but a similar matchup. After Game 1's sub-10-minute win, Vitality had to go the distance, almost a 20-minute back-and-forth game with tons of threats that True Rippers were able to provide. It was Vitality who would eventually find their way, but it was a great effort from True Rippers in Game 2. I think something they'll be able to hang their hats high on as they get ready for their game against GZG, the losers of that previous matchup from Team Falcons PH. Welcome back to the desk. I'm Rainday. I'm joined by Renmar and Trex here to break down the action. In Game 2, that was, I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think a much better performance from True Rippers.
Hell yeah, it was a much better performance. I love
Fucking Nick.
Seemed very able and capable. There were some plays there that weren't just micro. There were some plays there that weren't just macro. I mean, they brought the full package that game. Still fell a little short, still made some mistakes, still maybe overextended at time or lost the point, but still, I think in that lower bracket, they could be a dominating force for sure if they can bring what we saw in that game.
I mean, certainly, I think they put up a much better overall game in that game, too, than we had seen, and comparing, let's say, the people who did not win, the GZG versus Team Falcons, who they'll face GZG, they had a lot of identity in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is maybe a direction they would want to head heading into their next matchup.
Yeah, I thought that because of the performance you saw from game number 1, going for this kind of lineup, double carries would have been way too greedy for them, but they made it work. Apparently, greed is good for them when it comes to their lineups. As long as you allow the Professor Kimmy to be able to get the vision, Asuna being able to tandem with Kimmy really well, which was a main point we were making earlier, that as long as their tandem is together,
Hey bro,
then
enjoy
the
the
rest of the map feels great for
stream.
True Rippers, and it did.
And then even Garcia towards the end of that game was just on fire.
Man.
One of the best Moskov performances I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every player had a moment. Even the Uranus for Hansa from early to mid was just unkillable for a time.
Yeah.
So now if they can all just be stars at the same exact time, instead of everyone having their own moment throughout the game, I think they can start putting some wins under their belt.
For sure.
So I'm excited to see how they play for the rest of these days to come.
How did this game evolve the tournament's meta so far? We've seen the Assassin approached as a high priority pick.
Yep.
And we've seen similar first and second picks, including the Atlas being heavily prioritized for both the first picks on
Yep.
both teams. But Rimar, in your eyes, did we learn
Did it
something here?
better
after seeing
than
these
the
two
first
matchups
game?
that we'll take to the rest of the tournament?
I learned I have a new wish for this tournament.
Okay.
Wherein something that we usually see at the start is they're willing to be more creative and kind of experimental. Hopefully that isn't just a group stage thing. I hope this continues all the way until knockouts, all the way up until the grand finals, where you see teams taking these risks. Was it risky and egotistic for them to lock in the Selena for Vitality early on? Yes, but it was a big impact for the team. Moreno was a monster on that Selena. But then True Rippers answered with a Uranus, with which you told me the streets have some info about.
I mean, yeah, Uranus is supposed to be a very good comfort pick for Rahansa there. And that also leads to what you were saying in a sense of, we're in a meta right now where comfort can sometimes be okay. There is not a set 10 heroes that everyone has to play. Even the YSS we kind of questioned, it did amazing. if you're able to pull it off, everything has a counter, right? Everything seems to kind of, you can go tit for tat. You can get a
Break
little
between
outside of
two
the box
games.
and still pull off wins. We saw it with the Selena there. I mean, overall, I think the meta's in a very good place right now, a place that we haven't seen it in a long time, if not ever.
Seeing some more uniqueness on some of the hero picks as well, and seeing some uniqueness now in terms of these new matchups that will force maybe even more decisions from our players to expand their hero pool. As we look at our bracket for this tournament, it's Group A today. Group B will have their matches tomorrow, but as I've said prior, we have Group A and Group B doing their own upper bracket and lower bracket runs. So we'll see elimination matches now coming up for the 3 and soon to be 4 teams that will have lost these initial matchups. We'll then see qualification matches for Team Vitality and Team Falcons PH, Team Vamos, and the winner of our upcoming game, Team Ignite versus Team Spirit. And that will advance somebody to the knockout stage and send someone else into a decider match against either True Rippers and Guangzhou Gaming or Team Falcons Mena versus the winner of Ignite or Team Spirit.
True Rippers versus Guangzhou Gaming is going to be a tearjerker because for so long, ever since we saw China come into the scene, we've wanted to see them do amazing things. And now we have this other new region coming into the scene that we're hoping to see do great things. And no matter what, one of them are going home. That's a tough match to have to watch right there.
May was one of the first names we saw perform in an international tournament for MLBB coming out of China. And then now he's at the risk of, he cried when he won the qualification tournament because he's been wanting this for so long, to make it into the group stage, not just be stuck in the wild cards, but now instantly at the lower bracket up against a region that's been, again, desiring to be part of this scene for the longest time. It will be a tearjerker in that matchup.
You could also look at it on the flip side that either way, somebody's moving on. So you got somebody to root for who definitely has a great story coming into it. As you've been having a lot of fun with Mobile Legends Bang Bang, like us on the desk and our casters and our players, we think there's something else you might enjoy. Make sure to check it out. It's a new idol adventure in the Mobile Legends universe. Take a look.
Play my game. He knows nothing. Let's go! Tyler 1, you're done. Raw energy. Awesome, blow the house down.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower.
Oh, what do you mean by India
Imagine an
outsider?
entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
Is there Chinese team too?
If you enjoy the 16 teams here at MSC battling it out for $1 million prize pool, well, you're going to enjoy ENC, the Esports Nations Cup, where more Mobile Legends Bang Bang alongside 15 other games will take over Riyadh for 4 weeks of competition in search of the ultimate prize. Be ready to witness history there at the Esports Nations Cup. I know it is going to be a blast. We'll have another game that I know of there as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, welcome back here as we get
Vitality and
ready to
Falcon.
preview our next match set. It is going to be Team Ignite versus Team Spirit. Gentlemen, Renmar, Trex, what do we have
After
to say
2
heading
days
into this?
or
We've
3 days
obviously
maybe.
seen 3 great games today. We've learned a lot about the meta. What are you hoping to learn here as we head into this last one?
Well, for this one, I'm actually hoping for a much closer game. Although Ignite Gaming is newer on the block and Team Spirit as a entire team have a deeper wealth of experience, I want to see these two teams challenge and I want to see them fight.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping this can be the one that goes all 3. I think it's very, very possible. Singapore has been known to have some decent showings in MSC in the past. We've seen them be able to pull up and get upsets. Team Spirit, on the other hand, has just been an overall dominant force.
Yeah.
They've never gotten, grand finals. They've been hunting it for a while, but they have consistently been the gatekeepers to teams that want to get to that top 4.
Yeah.
They're consistently a team that is able to keep anyone else at bay because they're going to be the next ones to get to that grand final spot.
Talk to me about Zhao Egoist. He had an opportunity to maybe play. Didn't really work. He's under a new jersey from that maybe time to now representing Team Spirit. His potential is off the charts.
Yeah, we got to see a glimpse of how he'll play in a big international setting in our last World Championship during M7 when he was finally eligible to play, and he looked great there. There were so many players, pundits, and personalities who looked at him and said, oh, that's the next big thing. That jungler is going to be out of this world once he finally matures into that final form. It's going to take years, but as early as now, the fact that you have a lot of people saying that, it's good for his potential.
Oi!
And this also isn't the first player that Team Spirit has introduced at a young age. 2 years ago it was Hiko, the gold laner. He came in very young and just made a name for himself immediately. We called it Hiko-mania at that point. He was a star gold laner. I feel like some of his last internationals, we didn't see that same exact shine.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we see it again. And maybe we see
Damn,
Zhao
I
Egoist
didn't know
also just pull
China
up
was playing
at a
too.
young age at this international and show off.
This is the moment right here, especially for the junglers. Error 404 said it was his time to show what his heroes, can do. And that's exactly what Team Spirit hope for their young star in Zhao Egoist. We actually had a chance to catch up with Team Spirit's Kid Bumba before the match
Let's
to hear what he had
see
to say.
if India can beat China.
We are now here with Kid Bomba right before the match, and obviously we do get to talk to you, and we want to, fact check with you, pulse check with you as well. What's going on?
Nothing much. We're just waiting for the game, to be honest. We're happy that we can finally play. We had a really long boot camp, so I'm really, really, really excited to play, actually. 3 reallys, because I've been just waiting for this, This tournament doesn't have a lot of games, so I want the best to be in every game, so I'm very excited.
Very excited. And of course, you said earlier on that you had a boot camp? Where did you boot camp in?
Yep, I
Malaysia
came here
for
to watch the
3.5
Indian
weeks.
match.
It was a very good boot camp, very productive. One of the best.
I
that
mean,
we've had.
our neighboring country is playing.
And like I said, we're just looking forward
Had
to
to
the
show
match.
some support.
What did you learn from Malaysia that you're going to take here? Is it more, strategy maybe?
I mean,
Just be general, it's okay.
it's not Malaysia because we were scrimming against every team, right? Every Asian team. It's not that we scrimmed against Malaysian teams only. I mean, we get what we always get. We get better in decision making, in our tempo. Generally, everything that just is better in Asia than it is in ECA. So we adapt and then we implement our own.
So do you think that's going to be the big difference maker? I mean, last time we saw you at MSC, it was 5th to 8th placer. And now you're coming back here with, of course, more spirit. Get it? Spirit.
I mean, teams know us as like weak mental team in hard games against like Asian teams, struggling when we have a lead. But we want to change it this tournament, so we're going to show our best. And I'm 100% ready to give it my everything to show everybody that we can actually do something this tournament. And if it's not going to go out well, then it won't happen. Everything will happen like God wants it to be.
Amen, amen, amen. We will see it. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to do well. But before you do well, obviously your next matchup is against Diablo. Now, talk us about the laning phase. I mean, we know Diablo to be a player that's also very, bombastic. He has a lot of things under his sleeves. Is there any particular preparation that you have for the laning phase against Diablo, seeing as the EXP lane is so important now?
For me, he's just a normal
By
opponent.
the way, Isa,
For me, every opponent that I face is just
what's
a
your
normal
ML
opponent. I
ID?
don't think highly of them. Laning phase generally for
You
me
wanted
it
the
doesn't mean a lot.
diamonds
For me, it's about the
for
team
the promo
play.
diamond
Laning
events,
phase, I
right?
just try to do my best. If I win, I win. The goal is to always be equal. The goal is not to win for me. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think I'm gonna have any problems.
Okay, so that's a little bit of insight coming to the XP lane from Kid Bomba's perspective. And into the next match, obviously, we do want to know, maybe do you have a message for Diablo?
The usual good luck.
Oh, come on. Nothing else? You don't want to give him some...
No.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
You're saving it for later.
No.
No too? So when?
Never.
Never. Okay, hopefully we get more from Kid Bomba next time. But thank you so much. And of course, good luck for your next. We are going back to the studio.
Might be the best handling of an interview I've seen so far with Eterna. She tried to get him, Kid Bumba saying not at all. But mentioning his master class that may be coming up here against Diablo, the XP laner. We mentioned how big that is in order to help the jungle expand, and also just in terms of the pride for Ignite. Team Singapore comes in winning the MPL for Singapore in 11, but also having a little bit of domestic momentum. Trying to see if they can replicate that here at MSC is going to be a big one. But Diablo hopefully feels up to the challenge. He caught up with Eterna as well before the game.
So we're now here with Diablo. We can walk a little bit together right now. You're getting prepared for your next end. Diablo, it's so nice to see you. Wait a second. How are you feeling?
Excited because it's Paris this time around, so yeah, the feeling is different.
The feeling is different. What's different about it this time?
Because it's a new team. Yeah, I've always been with Flash for EWC, so yeah.
Okay, so the chemistry is down, and obviously I think a lot of spotlight is going to come into the EXP lane for you in particular. What do you think about the meta right now?
Definitely getting used to it, but I think it kind of favors my team quite a little. Yeah.
Favors your team. Can we know why?
Because I think my jungler is a very good assassin player. Yeah.
Okay, so but are we going to be expecting, crazy picks from you? Because you seem to always stray out of the meta, Diablo.
I think it depends on whether the draft is
Wait,
allowed, because right now I'm more tuned in to play for the team rather than for myself. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see, right?
But if you guys want to see it, maybe if I make it far, I might bring out some cheese picks. Yeah.
Okay, we're waiting for that. Once again, good luck for your next match. And Diablo, it's really nice to see you again. Let's just go back to the studio. Goodbye.
Always a blast here. Hearing a little bit from Diablo on team, I believe that was team Ignite, correct, guys?
Gaming,
and
yeah.
he was talking about Kelvin, his jungler, having a little bit to add to this meta, especially with his confidence on assassins. Played some utility jungle, but I think most of the jungle was utility up until this latest patch.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Rimar, in his confidence for his team?
Oh no, Kelvin is young. He popped off during his championship win with in MPL Singapore. He was a long-time development league player here in the Philippines. Finally got his first big break and then became a champion now at EWC. So I'm sure he's carrying going into this tournament with a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum for him personally.
Yeah, I think overall, Singapore, Kelvin, Jay, Diablo, I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. During that interview, they talked about cheese picks. They talked about if the draft allows it. And Singapore is never scared to throw a little bit of spice into the draft. And kind of backpacking off of what we were talking about in some of the last drafts, the meta is a little open to that. There's possibilities. We've seen some crazy things from them before. I think back in 2024, what was it? The mid lane.
Fanny, was it? Oh wait, no, they did that during regional.
Decimation. I can't remember.
Terizla?
No.
I can't
It'll-
tell you.
We'll
Yeah,
come
I
back.
wish.
He's like,
I would.
We'll come back to it.
try.
We'll come back to it. But we've seen some crazy things before from Singapore, so I'm excited for it.
Was he represent? Was
the
he referencing
execute all.
NIP Flash at that time? Because they
NIP
got
Flash.
third or fourth place.
Yeah.
At 24,
Yes.
right? At
Yeah.
MSC 24.
It was a great year for them.
Yeah, and that was where they really solidified their identity as like the cheese pig dude. It's like we've always said it just in the regional leagues.
Yeah.
But then in 2024, the fact they made it that far with some very unique picks. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember. Dude, Martis. There we go.
Mid lane Martis.
Yeah. I can't believe Decimate. Who is that again? But yeah, hopefully.
there anyways.
Hopefully, but again, he's not. He mentioned it himself. He's not with Flash this time around.
Right.
It's a newer squad. Technically, he's coming in this as the leader of the group, as the guy with all of his wealth of experience. So he has to lead this. Does he want to lead through cheese picks? With what he said, apparently not. He's gonna do it like the good old-fashioned way.
And that's sometimes how you have to do it, especially when you go into a tournament where you don't know exactly what to expect. Obviously, some fans yelling in the background. It's excitement time. Our last series of the day is about to begin. If you think you know how it's going to go, make sure to check out the EWC Pick'ems. Go to esportsworldcup.com/play, and you can decide who's going to win this matchup. Let us know if you got it right over our last 3 series. And if you're with the majority here who have 91% on Team Spirit, only 9% on Ignite Gaming, Trex, you're shaking your head.
I think that might be a little much. I think that might be a little much. Let's not completely count out Ignite Gaming. Like I said, this is a time that Singapore has shined before in MSC. Yes, they've had some bad days with their representatives, but we're in groups. This is a time that a lot of times teams like this do show up. Team Spirit has been known sometimes to have rough starts in the beginning. They always make it to top 8. That's almost a guarantee for Team Spirit. But if there's a day that they could come in a little off, today could be the day.
Yeah, and they have a good chance to make a comeback. They've shown it in the past. Both of these teams great at making comebacks through lower brackets.
Big narrative of the day. Are we learning more about the meta, or are we learning more about how these two teams are showing up with their individual narratives? Because both playing for something, both, we look at Ignite trying to get back to what Singapore had done a couple of years ago here at MSC. Team Spirit trying to prove that they can compete at these levels as well.
Yeah, I feel like this veers away a little bit from the meta discussion. This is going to be a little bit more of a personal story for these two teams as individuals and as an entire group.
It's going to be exciting.
It's so hard to even honestly talk completely about the meta this early on. In a tournament like this, it'll start off wide and it'll slowly whittle down until we get to that grand finals. And that's when we'll really know, okay, these are prioed. Like, this has to be prioed. Early on, like right now, there's still so many opportunities.
Team Spirit, Team Ignite about ready to take the stage as we begin our final series of the day to set up our Group A double elimination bracket. Let's go.
My friends, our day is going by so quickly, but still, game 2, or at least match 3 that we had today. Game 1, sub 10 minute. Game 2 goes to 20 minutes. I think even with Vitality's victory, the second one was quite hairy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Match 3 was a roller coaster to watch. You know what? They got game 1 in under 10 minutes. That was crazy. We were yelling in the green room. And game 2, ooh, that was very 50-50. But you know what? I think that the last match of the day could all get us at the edge of our seats. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Team Spirit. This is a team that is no stranger to the international stages. After a run that was cut short last year, have they done enough for the redemption they are oh so hungry for?
Team Spirit are no slouches, I tell you that, fair enough. But I'm telling you, on the other side is a team that has still a lot more to prove in this moment. So let's bring them out. Please join me in welcoming Ignite Gaming. They've set the stage on fire from community qualifiers to the international stage. Their underdog story starts today. Their unpredictability has helped them win upset after the next, no matter their opponent's experience level. I'm telling you, the other side, it's a lot of experience.
Yes, but let's not forget some of the players for the side of Ignite Gaming is also no stranger to the international stages. Both teams are looking to prove themselves. today, but only one will come out on top.
Then, gentlemen, please, you may place your keys. Go ahead, Ignite. Go ahead, Team Spirit. You may go place your keys. Captains, remember, shaking hands before we start off our game because it's all about fair play, right? You want to be very happy and thankful. You're getting to play at this level, and there it is. Gentlemen, we avoided the fist bumps, and we got the handshakes in. Our game is set. We're all ready. Let's send it back to our desk and get this one rolling.
Team Spirit ready to go up against Team Ignite. What a game we've got to close out day one here of our group stages. We've got plenty of days. I think it's 9 here with MLBB on the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet. And so the road is truly just beginning. But it all leads to that one trophy in the middle, the MSC champion. Will one of these two teams be lifting it at the end of this competition? Well, today is certainly a way to find out. By the way, just to let you guys know, watching at home, you can get 2 champions in one game. My Champions Pick. That event is now live from now until July 27th. So make sure to scan that QR code and have a chance to get some exclusive MSC skins and pick your dual champions and win 50,000 diamonds. Man.
Lots of goodies available for all of us there, and hopefully we get a goodie in this one. As much as Diablo says no cheese picks, if it's not gonna come from him, hopefully it comes out of anyone in this game. Just give us one new one. Or is it too greedy to ask? We've got D-Roth, Brody, Eudora, Ling making a comeback. Just one more and I'm a happy boy.
I think we could definitely see it. I know they said they were going to keep it simple, but I got a feeling we see at least one more unique pick in this best of 3, especially if it goes the whole 3. And if there was any match that I looked at today that I thought was going to go 3 games, it would be this one in front of us now.
Yeah, but Team Spirit, with what Kid Bomba is saying, much happier with the results of their scrims this time around. And I'm sure everyone remembers the interview that Kid Bomba had after a tough loss experience against Onyx Philippines in the very first round of knockouts last MSC. We saw the emotions for Kid Bomba flow and for Team Spirit as a whole, because for them it felt like they we're just repeating the clock again off of their biggest international loss. It's been a year since then. They've won so much more, and they've gotten even more wins in big international matches. But I'm pretty sure just ever so slightly, that's in the back of the heads of Team Spirit, and they will do everything they can to avoid that.
It'll be Flying Cloud for our map reveal. Coming up in game number 1. Seen a lot of dangerous grass. We've seen a river. We've seen some Flying Cloud as well in our last series. And now it's time to see it again. This is the end of match day 1, and those coming into it, everybody is still alive, win or lose here. But if you lose, not only do you lose the chance to have some momentum, but you get put into an elimination game the next time that you play. If you win, you're in the upper side of the bracket for your group, and you have a chance to lose again or advance straight to the next round. So lots at stake here for both of these teams. 2 contenders, some would say very evenly matched, ready to begin their draft.
All right, Hibana, the Fanny and the Freya taking away again a Fanny pick for Zar Egoist. I expect Ignite Gaming are preparing a game plan where they control the jungle, whether through the draft or through aggressive rotations, just so they can keep tabs on Zar Egoist. They take out another one. They don't want the Herara. They really are trying to minimize the hero pool of their opponent. But with that, I mean, we saw Ling get first pick, and Team Spirit go for it.
Yeah, Team Spirit has always kind of favored an aggressive jungle. Even when there was opportunity for something utility-based, they like to pick up things like Suyo in the past. They like, now it's the Ling, even with the Herara and the Fanny gone, they immediately lock that in. And a lot of teams have been going for roamers as their blue side first pick. Team Spirit, on the other hand, they want to make sure that Egoist gets as much as he can out of this draft.
Valentina coming up in response alongside the Cho.
Yeah, very quick answers here for Ignite. But with this Valentina early, they have to watch out that Spirit are going to end up with those long-range mid laners for Sunset Lover. And not even just that. He's great at the heroes such as the Lily as well, but they're playing it close to their comfort. They pick up a juice in. So Team Spirit, you know their mindset. It's control, but through multiple angles, through a very strong EXP laner, through a jungler that rotates fast, and of course, one of the most annoying mid laners to go up against.
It's an aggressive lineup right now from Team Spirit, but I will say, Ignite have some ways to close the distance, have some ways to get in onto this Jushin. The Valentina isn't horrible against it. Yes, it does get outranged, but with the Cho behind it who can quickly dash through that beacon, quickly look for those pickoffs, the Jushin doesn't look as strong as it normally would.
We're seeing the Valentina a couple of times here, Trex. Why do you like it or not like it?
I think a lot of it just comes down to the matchup. Right now, it's great because you get to steal these skills. It has movability. It has opportunity. And here in this matchup, I do kind of like it, especially paired up with the Cho. Normally, the Jushin has so much priority and so much control, and the way to get past that is quick dashes. Quickly close that distance and don't let her just keep that beacon on you for more than a second or two.
Yeah, for Ignite Gaming, you mentioned about aggression from Team Spirit, but Ignite, they want to match it. This is going to be ending up as a battle of who gets a better early game. Those little decisions that make the difference between you losing and you winning in the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game. I think we might get our wish that this will be one of the closer, more exciting games, because based on the first 3 picks alone, you're going to see a lot of aggression and a lot of trades. I really hope we don't get that type of game where it's like, oh, this lineup, both of them, they're great for fighting, and then they both just play so defensively, waiting for that turnaround moment. I hope we don't get that.
I think a lot of it will come down to what Team Spirit locks into their roam position here. Right now, with the Cho, with the Suyo, Ignite's going to want to play opposite side of the river. They're going to want to look for those pickoffs. We're going to want to see this Cho hanging out on Team Spirit's side of the map. So if Team Spirit can respond to that well and maybe push back and stop that from happening, look for those pickoffs themselves, because you're right, both junglers want to try to get a kill or two in the first 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah. With there being a Cho on the side of Ignite, I would like one more pick with maybe much better burst, something that can really make the most out of the pick-off style of the Cho, but Team Spirit still end up banning the Brody. So that was the pick that I was thinking. Now they might just be stuck with a typical carry Claude trade. I don't see a Harith slotting in here anywhere unless they're really confident. I think we're still going to see the traditional basic attack marksman.
I like the Claude here for Ignite. You're able to escape away. You have the BMI with all the dashes already with the Paquito and the Ling. I think Carrie's a little bit too immobile, a little bit too much of a sitting duck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, Moscow's still open.
Is Harith also still open?
Yeah, Harith is open.
Moskov, another decent pick, especially if the Paquito tries to come in. You just kind of stiff arm him away.
Yeah. Even make space between itself and the Ling. That's just what I was thinking of, like some instant crowd control. Oh, Uranus is making a comeback. Back at it again. I think this is going to be the Diablo pick. Yeah, definitely the Diablo pick.
Diablo.
2 more picks from Team Spirit here. They still need a roamer. They still need a gold laner. What's the big roam pick? Do they go heavy into crowd control here? We've seen Sawo and things like the Grok before. Could be.
Oh yeah, Grok Sawo, then something with like a carry to shred through the Uranus, because you need more shred here. I mean, you have strong bursts with the Paquito, the Ling, but you can never go wrong with even more basic attack damage, considering there's a lot of mobility on the other side. Oh, they go Esme?
Esme gold? So wait a second, fighter off lane?
Oh yeah. So an older approach and tactic where they put double fighters and then they're playing their carry solely through the Ling. Their Ling is their basic attack damage hero.
Plus the Paquito. Paquito hurts. I mean, they do have a good damage profile even without the marksman because of the Paquito, because of this aggressive EXP laner.
Interesting. Maybe Ignite were reading into that considering they picked up the Uranus, but even with all of that, the Uranus is definitely going to feel the hurt here.
You got a Claude here, right? Against so many fighters.
Yeah, or the Moskov, either of those two. The Claude would be great, again, as you mentioned, because of the mobility. BMI out. They go down the Moskov route here. Interesting choice by Team Spirit. Another unique approach to the meta. It's not cheese picks as we asked, but it's a new element and a new layer to how to play the game.
We saw a lot of these. We saw a lot of this over in the Amers.
Oh,
in
the Amers,
MCT.
yeah.
We saw a lot of fighter, a lot of, kind of funnel strategy, especially with the ability to have these high damage EXP laners. It's the opportunities there. Once like the Freyas, the Paquitos, things like that, the opportunity is definitely there.
Esmeralda versus the Uranus. Diablo and Kid Bomba going up against each other here in what should be a creative and impactful EXP matchup. We'll see who can take game 1 here in our final series of the day. Team Ignite versus Team Spirit. Let's send it over to our casters to kick it off.
I did not expect today to be a sweep day, Gideon, and hopefully it's not on this last match today. Hopefully we get 3 games here to round out day 1 of the group stages for MSC. This draft, though, is something we have to always talk about. I mean, today has been it's been a little freaky in the draft, man.
I have to admit, it is a little freaky here, but let's see what the adjustments are going to be, right? Double fighters have come into play this time round, and I think that IG has a bit of work to do, right? First off, we're already starting on a different side of the map just in case things go wrong for Moskov. I'm looking at the emblem setup as well, and it looks to be a very, very good spread overall. We're not looking for anybody who's trying to go above and beyond with the Master Assassin on a TS's side.
Even the fact that we have a gold lane Paquito, man. You know, the hands of Hiko, again, one of the youngest players before that came through the league, made a big statement on his first international appearance, just a couple years ago. But the thing is, now you have a Paquito in your favor. You're running this kind of double fighter setup for this composition for Team Spirit. And this is what I like about where the meta seems to be going, as Salo gets kicked around a little bit here by Jay. But nonetheless, with this kind of idea for a composition, this could hyper scale your Ling. I think you give the grounds for your Ling to go ahead and get scaled up really quickly for Zara Iguis. And again, this is a player who I think a lot of people are looking forward to play. Was it just last year? But he was unfortunately not able to compete just in his MSC appearance last year. But now we get to see it in the hands of a Ling who seems to be rising in stock value right now in the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, every assassin player wants to get their hands on Ling. It's such a impactful style of hero, not only with ultra mobility, but genuinely just an absolute menace to play around. And I think that IG, the question is, how do they eventually punish Team Spirit? A lot of it, I think, has to be directed towards Sawo before level 4. After that, we don't really know, right? Somebody on the side of TS has to make that mistake unless IG can force it out of them. And for now, I don't see that happening, considering the double fighters are just good at fighting early, right? You can't win the 2v2 skirmishes anymore. Even the mid lane is a little bit hard to contest as of yet until Roy is able to find a good ult. And even then, there's only one good ult right now.
Yeah, you can see that too. Hiko just going to go ahead and cut in that wave again on the Paquito versus that Moscow matchup. It's not the normal, marksman matchup that we usually see. Good little attempt, SOD thrown out towards that purple buff. And now the turtle is up, and this is I feel like the result of just this composition. I mean, no one's committing to the turtle; they just want to make plays elsewhere.
Yeah, this is really, really interesting. Holding up the retribution, able to make this invasion happen. And I think if you're in IG's position, if you try to attempt a counter invade instead of taking the turtle, it will be too late, and Sawo will hit level 4. So at that point, you probably don't want to send too many members. Okay, Falling Star Moon does not connect, but that's fine. Jay, good movement for now, as IG's considering how they want to approach this. Diablo's going to open up the map first. He's going to get pulled back, but eventually somebody's going to have to take this neutral objective.
This is the slowest first turtle we've had today, man. I mean, they finally go and put pressure on Sunset Lover, but still neither team seems to want us to go ahead and secure this. So meanwhile, the FCS doing his thing. He's going to continue to farm up. He's got the SOD available now. So it's just resulted into no one giving it a go just yet. But now this turtle started up by Kelvin. Half health on the turtle.
All right, Fallen Star Moon already connects. Is he going to get it? Zara Iguis is able to steal it away. Minoan Fury has already been unleashed. Jay forced the flicker out there as Diablo wants to hop over the wall, takes the flicker. However, Zara chases him over, and with the help of Kid Bomba, they secure first blood.
Hiko was making his way for that fight too. If they wanted to go and collapse down, if IG didn't disengage the way they did, then that would have been really bad for IG to go in that fight. We're going to look at the replay here brought to us by SDC. Again, this turtle for the taking happens really fast. Good usage there with the retribution from Zara Iguis. And then they get into this fight. that just did not favor IG in this, and they really had to burn some battle spells and, of course, their ultimates to try to survive with all they could. But unfortunately, you know, it was Diablo to go down first.
I think it's just unfortunate that Kevin just didn't have the Sever at the right time. It got canceled out initially once the Falling Star Moon came through, and when you're in that cooldown without it, it's really difficult to actually contest for the turtle, especially when your opponent is one level ahead. For now, I mean, this is exactly what I expect from a double fighter composition. Like, these people can take damage for days, and Kid Bubba is like, I don't care unless you kick me, and there's the way of the dragon. It comes to him, and no one Fury flicking forward. With the SOD already connecting, they can't get any more than this. Zawo finally getting punished. There's the Ionic Edge. Collapse on. Backline getting attacked. Blade of Tempest as well. Gets one, looks for a second. Zaryaegis can't take any more damage to this, and they back away.
Well, I guess at this point you should care a little bit about what could potentially happen, you know, and the kick being one of them from Jay, but it was a good attempt for things to go ahead and start. And yes, TS will go ahead and grab one themselves, but once again, take a look at the replay. There's the kick we were talking about, that way of the dragon right on Kid Bomba. And I have to agree with you. Aside from that, this is what the double fighter allows you to do. You get a ton of information for your team because you're usually planning up in that side of the jungle of the opposing team. Now up top, again, CS really comfortably just able to go ahead and farm up. There was some attempt up there, but the rest of the team of IG is there. Conceal's going to be used now. Jay's going to go ahead and spot this out. So, again, this seems to be the case, Gideon, where it's like, if we can conceal, if we can make an attempt, we'll go for it. But right now, it's just kind of waiting here.
Oh, in trouble. CS finally goes down here. Tries to make a flicker play. Unfortunately, gets punished significantly for it.
That's one of the unfortunate things when you're up against a Ling, you know, and the packed punches of a Paquito coming through too will just bring you down to half health before you know it. Now, Turtle's up. Jay given some vision as well as Diablo. They got to go ahead and grab that purple buff. But we might just see it once again where IG wants to go ahead and take their time for this turtle, not overly committing just because, again, firepower-wise, they need time to go ahead and build up.
Speaking of which, I am interested in the item build in just a second here. Hasclaw done by Zaryaegis. Let's see how this is going to play out. He still has Tempest of Blades, so it's really difficult for him to actually, you know, not miss the retribution. He hits it. Now Kevin is dead. Pretty easy work for Zaryaegis with the rest of his team covering him. They didn't have to use too many ults, and now they get Diablo. Minoan Fury as well, flicking forward, doesn't catch anybody, and that's a double for Zar. This is going phenomenally for Team Spirit.
Yeah, Team Spirit, a lot of tools in the pocket to work with, and now in the mid lane, Jay trying to keep them from taking down the tier 1 turret. He's going to take a couple shots, tries to get away too, and he'll live. But man, it's costing IG a lot in these skirmishes, and now the bottom turret will be worked on Hiko. So at some point, IG has to be able to go ahead and kind of recalculate here. As we look at the replay, once again, this was an easy objective take. Zaryaegis does win the retribution. You know, that's one of the things, again, this is a very skilled player. He's young, he's just aggressive, likes to pick these hyperscaling heroes, and it'll come down to the retribution where he's just able to go ahead and cap it off against Kelvin.
And there you go. You can see in that replay, he's going nice, knowing that he's done good, his due diligence, and not to mention that he is in a position to actually hard carry this game like he's meant to, right? Oh my God. They make a kick onto Watsawa's side. The Queller comes on through Soul Sever, Minoan Fury, but there's no flicker to actually make it work. The Blade of Tempest comes out, but this should be a nothing fight unless Kid Bomba makes something happen on himself.
Well, he goes in. He's going to drag him back. Jay, there's an SOD, though. Where they're going to follow through.
It connects good, but now they need to maintain the battle lines. If not, things are going to get worse. And Roy, he's thinking about it. He's got that Blade of Tempest, but the problem is, without the Shadow Steps, he can't pick up and actually make full use of it anyways. Now, with that being said, despite everything that has happened, 5-2, it's a 4.4K at 8 minutes.
Yeah, and you see 2,000 of that 4K, Gideon, is on the jungle for Team Spirit. Zaryaegis, nearly 2,000 gold ahead right now, and that's why, you know, one of the things they're trying to do is get this point where IG can, you know, even out the jungle a bit, because again, even when it comes down to a level gap, that plays a part. Of course, in the 50-50 for the retribution, it's not much of a 50-50 if you're too far down in this case. So now with this Lord being up, they got to go ahead and get in position. IG has constantly tried to face off against this double fighter lineup, but they're just kind of zoned out from everything. Nice little block there, Sunset Lover. Lord will be secured for Team Spirit.
And look at him go. If Zara doesn't get an MVP title for this one, it's a bit tough to complain because man, he's kind of doing so much, and it's great to see that the rest of his team is able to become that strong foundation for them. No one's really overextending. Nobody is like making too many mistakes. And even on the Hiko side, I think he literally is having a gold lane experience as a fighter.
Which is weird, right? Because it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know if boxers are used to all this gold that he can work with, you know? And right now with Hiko charged up, he can lead that charge because his kind of a threat, just with the nature of the way Paquito works and how he packs such a punch, is deadly enough where then again, Zaraiguis on the Ling, you have kind of that freedom to just join the fight when everybody is pretty low in terms of health bars. You can go ahead and capitalize some kills. Sunset Lover, I'm surprised the Jushin hasn't been picked up as much, right? Even with her nerf a bit, she's still very valuable, like this. I mean, you're able to go ahead and drag people back. You get the Ice Queen 1, you slow them down a bit. And now this Lord is going to charge in up the top side. Shields are popped top, mid, and bottom.
Oh, what a play coming in from Sunset Lover, taking advantage of the last hit on the stacks of the butterflies. Finds one and pulls him back. They try to get a little bit back. They have to move away. Oh my goodness, that was about to be absolutely nasty had it not been for flickers.
Yeah, if they did. Either way, take a look at the replay here brought to us by STC. Look at this move. This is why I was saying the Jushin, man, the value, the utility that she still brings to the table as a hero is insane. So you can force this fight into this. Yes, none of the base turrets went down, but look at the lead that Team Spirit has.
Dude, that's such a good idea as well. I was paying attention to the butterfly stacks, but Sunset Lover does not miss a beat here. And as you were mentioning, oh wait, no, this should be a pretty good fight. Sunset Lover finds Jay as Diablo backs their way up, and there's just too much damage to deal with. The lead is so gigantic as we get closer to the GG number of 10K.
Did they nerf that right?
No. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now.
Did it change much? Because, my goodness, it doesn't seem like they're able to get away. Oh, Sunset Lover quite low.
No, the Minoan Fury is good, but now Zaraiguis is basically unstoppable. Everybody doesn't have the base damage to actually deal with him, and now they're going to be taking literally everything away. This is their timer. As long as they don't make a mistake, DS should find an endgame scenario in the next minute or so.
Massive lead, 11,000 up plus.
Oh my
Look
lord.
at the difference across the economy here for Team Spirit against IG. This is not looking good at all in game one. Again, we're just approaching the 12-minute mark, but it feels like, you know, for IG, they've just been kind of trying to buckle up in this game and taken for a ride.
I think IG were not prepared to deal with DS and their double fighter shenanigans here. And not to mention how polished it really is. It makes you wonder, had they just gotten rid of a couple of other picks? Maybe if they got rid of, I want to say Minotaur, but I think the Jushin is a lot worse.
Yeah, maybe the Jushin right now, this is... I mean, I'd say, do they want to contest? No, you don't. When you're down this much, just let the Lord go in the hands of TS. Get ready to somehow defend. But the bad part of this is 2 of your base turrets already gone. You're down at this much gold, so your fighting prowess is pretty much non-existent right now. And even your tankier members, your tankier heroes are getting shredded down. I mean, even if Diablo tries to get in that front line, the problem, the risk of that is he's just going to get dragged through by Sunset Lover, like we've seen. And so you have to be able to buckle in on this one because this defense, as crucial as it is, it's very dire for them. The Lord is going to make its way down mid.
It really is, and I think there's a way for the entire team. If they can just zone out specifically CS, then I think they have an opportunity. But here comes the conceal. They're going to take their time. The kick is good. It lands on the correct target, and Minoan Fury is going to be taken away. They tried to turn this around, but Zaraiguis is able to find one as Hiko kills Jay. And at this point, the base is already done for. A good idea, however, executed just a little late and no way to delay those waves.
Such a clean performance from Team Spirit, a clean game. Again, I think a lot of people are wondering, you know, this version of Team Spirit coming through in this MSC 2026 at EWC, man, how would they be? Again, they had a first-round exit in their last international appearance, you know, and this is a different version of it, a more refined version of Team Spirit. Yes, it's only their first game and their first match, but so far, from what we've seen, it is clean. And for a team to bring in this kind of composition, the double fighter, make it work this well, it's kind of scary because, again, what more is up the sleeve?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because there are certain aspects of this particular composition that just work so well against each other. The fact that Sunset Lover and Sawo survived the earlier stages and then suddenly became this massive driving force. No matter what you do, our counter engage will always be better. I will make you run through the mud. I will make you do everything in your power to tax you so you can't get to neutral objectives or any of our quote-unquote backliners.
Yeah, this was a very difficult game, I feel like, for IG at all stages of it, just because, again, your jungle was pretty gapped. You know, you didn't really have a chance. I mean, you can see just how much of the shot calls come through for Team Spirit, you know? So this is one of the things, again, where it's just like, what do you do? What do you focus on to get to the next game? That's the main thing that you want to go ahead and look for. So I know the panel, the studio wants to go ahead and break this down a little bit further, so let's go ahead and throw it on over to talk about Game 1.
Team Spirit take a convincing victory over Team Ignite, and it was not even close. You saw that just slow tide start to build and build until it was a tidal wave. And Team Spirit, off the rip, looking very good. Rain Day here back on the desk with Renmar and Trex. Guys, we did not have a lot of time to go back into the green room and reset because that game was over in a flash. What went so right for Team Spirit?
Well, they picked up a lineup that we didn't expect them to go for, but it was proactive. With all of their picks, it was picks that from no matter where you are in the map, you are making an impact. You're going at it right away. You are making your presence felt. And Ignite weren't ready for it. I have to agree with the sentiment of the casters. They just looked shocked and awed with what they had to deal with.
Is it Team Ignite kind of being surprised by how strong Team Spirit was?
I think Team Spirit was just such a steady burn that Ignite, maybe even when they wanted to bring the fights, there was always a good answer from Team Spirit. Team Spirit never fully committed in the early game. There was some small skirmishes. I think by second turtle, it was like 3-2, not crazy kill count, but Team Spirit was just steady every single time. They always got the kills in Azar. They always made sure that it mattered, but they never over-committed exactly. Even when they lost, even when that one play happened in the mid lane and they lost Bomba, the patience from Zar to sit in that bush in the mid, in the river, and wait until they came just far enough to where he could jump into the back line and get a counter kill that was much more valuable than losing Sawo. Overall, Team Spirit was just, it was a clean game from them.
One of our questions was, can Team Spirit do what they do on an international stage? And can Team Ignite come in trying to represent their region on this international stage and keep up with what Team Spirit was putting together? The answer so far is not quite. There remains more to be seen, but as we break down the graph of the end game, Renmar, it was a gold difference, it was a kill difference, it was a pace difference that allowed Team Spirit to stay on top.
Yeah, and this echoes again our sentiments about the Paquito pick. No matter what position it's in, it will have the damage. Whether you put it in the gold, meaning you get faster damage. In EXP, it gets access to its upgraded skills a little bit faster because of how much faster you can get with the EXP rolling into you. For Team Spirit, there was a word mentioned, I believe, by Naisu. It was polished. Based off of what Kid Bomba said with how their boot camps were like in Malaysia, getting to play on the big Asian server with everyone else, with some of the big top 3 region teams, they really looked like they learned so much from it. They weren't just talking, they really put the action into it.
You know, the Paquito and the Ling. We saw the Ling and we talked about Zauer Egoist earlier on, 6-0. I've not seen a game where you can let Ling off the leash and just come back from it. We saw that earlier on in one of our first sets in Team Vamos. They destroyed with the potential of this character. I mean, this seems like something that needs to be limited and addressed somehow in this next matchup.
You know, in the past, what it would have been is get into the jungle, slow these assassins down. Picks like Hilda, utility junglers, something that can actually put pressure on someone like that early on, steal purple buffs. Those were the answers years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if we're going to start to see a glimpse of that again, or if it will continue to just be aggressive jungler against aggressive jungler. Let's see who scales better. Because right now, that's kind of the pace we're going at. And I'm wondering when that's going to switch up. Because, again, I mean, you know, it was Ube that destroyed the assassin meta years and years ago, right? It was things like that. That's what brought the utility jungle into the meta, first of all. And I'm wondering, will that counter response once again at MSC this year.
Yeah, maybe let's see. Is time really just a flat circle? Or are we going to go back to what? The Estases, the Matildas, the healers of the world? I don't know, but I like that day one, and even though we're not done yet, it's already set a precedent again of just the options are wide open.
Yeah.
And who is brave enough to take these risks of these unique choices are often rewarded. Again, Team Spirit is another example of that. With what they did here, you do not see this kind of lineup often, but when it works, it really works.
And it put them in a great position here as well to excel in game one, which sets them up now to lose 2 in a row if they're going to be into that lower bracket on Group A. If they just win 1 out of those next 2, they're going to be feeling really good about their chances to advance to the next stage. And speaking of your chances, you've got a brand new chance to check out a new interactive effect for Rhino Day. It's now available. Check out and join the celebration. You can see all those new interactions there in the shop. Looking pretty fun. Make sure to grab your chance to enjoy it here with the Rhino Day. Happy Rhino Day, everybody around the world. I keep saying it sounds like Rain Day, Rhino Day.
Oh, yeah.
We're just throwing it out there. I'm comfortable with that. Up this matchup. For True Rippers, they had an answer in game 2, and I think it worked really, really well, though it didn't get them the win.
I think True Rippers, for example, kind of got into their groove. They found that sense of self. They picked some comfort picks, and they were ready to play. I think we saw from True Rippers' sense that game 1 might have actually been nerves.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same thing for Ignite. These are players, at least Diablo, for a sense, has done this big stage many, many times. Now, Kelvin, on the other hand, is new to the big stage, so there could still be some nerves there. But I think, yeah, get comfortable. It's day 1. Don't overpress yourselves. If they get blue side here, then they get first pick up front, and they can kind of focus on themselves a little bit on what they actually want to play instead of constantly playing the counter game.
If there's anything that I would ask them to change, is like, just give Diablo something a little bit more active, man. Even if it's not exactly like, oh, this mashup looks really great and this is what we need right now. Diablo has always been the player to, no matter what he ends up with, he'll find a way to make it work.
Right.
As long as you can stay active in the map, it looks like that's what they sorely needed. With a Uranus, yes, Uranus is a good pick, but I don't think it's the Diablo pick. You need something that gets out of the lane quickly, makes his presence felt, something that allows him to be a superstar and a hero sometimes.
What do you want to see?
Oh, well, we mentioned the Benedetta backstage. That is his pick. It is currently meta. Why the heck not? Something explosive right out of the gate.
Yeah, and that's obviously the matchup we kind of looked forward to. Kid Bamba, Diablo in that AXP lane. It just didn't end up being the kind of fireworks that we expected. So you can, if I were the coach of Team Ignite, say, we need to make sure that we have our win conditions set up. And that means making sure Diablo can, like you said, Renmar, have an impact. Maybe Rome. Is it the Benedetta that they bring out coming into this next game? Draft shortly upon us, as well as we keep speculating after these quick games. There's not really too much to go off of, but in some ways, though, that's kind of nice because it leaves everything open for us to discuss and kind of pick at. And, you know, it's the last day, it's the last game of the first day. I think these teams, too, if you're last, Trex, you're probably focusing on your game, but you're also probably aware of the results. You're seeing what's working to a sense. Your coach has certainly got eyes on what is working with these other games. What do you take away, and do you even take away anything from these first 3 matchups against teams that you're going to eventually have to play tomorrow in terms of how they're drafting to apply it? Do you leave it be and say, we're coming in with the strategy that we thought would work, and we're just going to try what we know, and we'll see if it doesn't work or not to get that experience? How do you approach going last at the end of the day and obviously seeing results?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, right? No matter what, you come into this game with a strategy ready against the team you're about to face, especially with Team Spirit having such a rich history in MLBB. There's a lot of information we already have from them. Now, as far as the games went today, maybe you pull a little something. Was there a good counter pick that we saw today? Was there something that kind of surprised us all today as, ooh, we might be able to use that today? Overall, I don't think, I mean, We saw the Dairoth. It did kind of fall short. We saw a few things come up, a few unique picks. I don't know if there's anything that the coach exactly would take today and be like, oh, we're definitely going to use that for sure. So we'll see exactly how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they just went up against game number 1 Team Spirit, day number 1 Team Spirit, where it was like, hey, we're going to get Hiko Mayon, a fighter, and it's Paquito Gold. You would be thinking that, oh, we're going to be seeing Hito on the traditional marksman. That's what he shined with. Nope, they gave him a guy with boxing gloves and the heaviest fists in the land of Dawn. And it worked out. If they're willing to take those risks, I want to see those risks to come out from Ignite. Just pick up heroes across the board that can have an impact, be aggressive, and make it exciting. Make it a fireworks show. We ended up going back to 2022 where all we got was Esmeralda versus Uranus, and no one enjoyed that back in the days.
You know, I think right now Ignite has to think about Team Spirit is no longer a team that you can just bait into the chaos, right? I think even from that interview that we saw with Bomba and him saying, "No, I'm not gonna talk smack to anyone. All I want to do is go even." This guy said, "All I want to do is go even in the EXP lane." This is a guy that used to always try to win. This is a guy that, you know, used to always try to like, let's do this, let's play. So overall, Team Spirit, and even from that last game we saw, they are a patient team now. They're still gonna look for plays. They're gonna get them when they matter, but they're not exactly. They know they don't have to go brawl with you. They can kind of take it slow, and Ignite might need to be ready for that. You know, they're a team that maybe wants to fight, and they're not going to be able to force it out of Team Spirit here.
Another expanding cloud pick up for the map.
Ooh, okay. So I think this is where we can really get to see some more aggression again. The Flying Cloud being the last one, we really didn't get to see it. It seemed like Ignite really doubled down on the idea of having a strong EXP lane that you can hold so that you're just going to be fine. But then they ended up going up against the double fighters, meaning that holding against a lineup that likes to hold because they're setting up for a carry that wants to farm fast and be high impact, then you're gonna lose that equation. Even though their picks were all right, it just didn't work out for them.
I'm wondering if Ignite bans out the Ling here. You know, earlier you asked me about the Ling. Maybe that's the real answer to it. It might be time to finally put on the ban pool. That would force Team Spirit to either ban out the Freya or the Harara.
Yeah.
Right? Or do we leave both open and do we finally see the Harara versus Ling matchup? But right now there is a lot on the field still.
Yeah.
Because Ignite's been focusing so much on the Fannies and things like that, I think we got a match here where we might see the possible trade up.
Yeah. Considering the Team Spirit once again banned out the Eudora and the Atlas, they are still really leaning into the idea of we're definitely going to pick up Assassins no matter what.
And the Eudora has been a big kind of even pick in mid lane to allow some type of stun, some type of CC, potential outplay, or slowdown of the Assassin so far. But Trex, I saw you pointing at that ban.
Well, that just means there's a lot on the field still. The Marcel it's a good ban, but it's also a throwaway ban because of the fact that we're seeing Atlas and Eudora banned out. We have Freya, we have Harara, we have Jushin still. There's a lot on the field to be traded with, and now it's up to Team Spirit. Do we give kind of a off-brand ban so that we can get the
two or
three of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We get the swing back. Harara has been monstrous. They do it, so it's a Beleric ban, meaning we have Freya and Harara both normally have been banned consistently are on the field.
Yeah, Freya, Harara, Ling, all still open. Wealth of choices here, which means Ignite are willing to trade out. And in first pick, which means Ignite are willing to trade it out. Team Spirit can't get everything, and Ignite might just be able to, math-wise, end up with more by the end of their first 3 picks.
Wow, so they go for the Ling. So they take it away, and they say, this is ours now. You're going to have to figure something else out as well. Does that mean the Freya goes to the side of Bomba and Zhao are egoist?
Ooh, go Freya Harara?
Yeah, I'm okay with the Freya Harara. Just go for damage right away. It's honest, but it's the good kind of honest. You know, it's like you're not going to get punished for that kind of honesty because those picks are just way too strong that not a lot can really deal with it. Let's see if they'll go for another switch up, but that'll be too early to show. I think Ignite might end up walking away with a Paquito later on.
They don't need Harara here, because no matter what, Ling's already been picked, so they can pick something else here, get the Harara in third pick, the Jushin.
Push it back.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another game for Sunset Lover and the Jushin this time. And it was impactful. It did give a lot of difficulty for Jay and Roy to be able to hold the center.
So Ignite here. Did they lock in what's been the popular pick? The Valentina. It didn't do amazing last time. This is tough, honestly. I don't know if I would have went for the Ling up front.
Yeah, I might have been too honest at the time. You mentioned the Valentina. I think the Valentina is okay. Or you pick up your gold laner now, so you can just start taking away gold laners at the second phase. Yeah, they do. They end up picking up the Brody, and then they'll go for the glue. Good chance it's going to be in Rome, but of course I can still be flexing to the EXP lane. And as you expected, Trex, there's the Hirara at third. So now you're just going to be playing a lot of trades through the mid. I would like to see Ignite consider a Lilia for their glue, just so that it's that constant pressure around the juice and then whichever roamer it's going to be paired up with. Or if they want to go for instant burst right away, or if they want to play around the box. Aniv is all right, but actually no, I'll go back on that. The Eve might actually be too difficult against the Freya, Hirara, and Jushin. Excuse me, the Eve, yeah.
The glue's a clean pick, though. I like it against the Freya, against any kind of big brawly fighters. It's a great stopper.
Yeah.
And also, as you said, most likely will be Roam, but there is flexibility to it coming into second phase, something you do kind of want on blue side, because you don't exactly get last pick. So more bans coming in from Ignite. They're taking their time this game, honestly, in terms of picks, in terms of bans. They take out that Minotaur, back over to Team Spirit.
Yeah, I think they realized that the Minotaur and Jushin together was just annoying. Too much crowd control together, plus that extra heal popping out of the Minotaur actually saved Team Spirit a lot in the last game.
Esmeralda also banned this time around. Stolen is the Ling, so that'll be on the opposite side. And again, some priority for Jushin on both sides, repicked.
They take out the Uranus.
Uranus also banned.
Which, even though Diablo didn't have the greatest game on it, it can still be a nuisance.
And it's still an option, right? It just limits his choices at this point.
So on this side, last ban from Ignite. Do they continue to home into the roam here? Or do they focus on the gold? You mentioned them possibly taking on any gold laners. We haven't seen any. I think at this point they know that there's not like that one gold laner that just owns the game at this point, so is it really worth? Yeah, you ban out the Harith, they pick out the Moskov. You ban out the Moskov, they get the Harith or the Claude. So you might as well get something that might have a bit more of an input, and they go with the Arlott.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to be playing around the static mid laner. They want to get somewhat close to mid-range, a lot of dive. And the Arlott makes sense as a ban. They're still respecting the possibility that Freya might go gold, and then you suddenly go get an Arlott EXP. Suddenly, team fighting for a lineup, playing around the Brody looks even more difficult. So they cover their bases, and no. Oh, they do not have the damage to deal with this Barras unless they pick a Lunox at mid.
Barat's roam, though?
It's a Barat's jungle.
So where's Harara going?
Oh, wait, no, you're right.
Team Spirit's getting spicy right now.
Barat's EXP Freya gold? Yeah, then jungle Hirara, mid Jushin, and then...
Unless Harara goes somewhere crazy.
Mathilda Roam. Yeah.
It's got to be Harara jungle, so yeah. Barat's EXP.
Wow, Kid Bamba with the...
Freya gold. They're going for the fighter. Yeah, they're going for the bulky offlaners again.
They go Matilda. Just so they get the or no, they still go Cho. Team Spirit, you are you are surprising us in the best way possible. You're packing up picks, and it makes sense. Again, it doesn't have the damage profile early on, and even once it gets later. But let's see if the Lilian Brody might be enough to melt through this overly aggressive, high damage, high crowd control, very tanky front line.
What I love about it is it's showing how much trust they have in their brand new jungler. Picking up these funnel strategies where they know that, listen, we're going to pick this big bulky box and just do your thing, Czar. And right now, the faith that they have in him is showing up.
All right, Team Spirit getting a little funky here with the Barats on the side of Kid Bamba. He'll go up against Alice on Diablo's side, and we'll see if Ignite can pull it back even or if Spirit will close it out. 2-0. Let's send it over to our casters to get games 2 started.
All true
Coach Coldstar and the rest of Team Spirit are cooking in the draft, and this is going to be a big statement if they end up 2-0 with this kind of draft. Gideon, this is so, I want to say, unusual for what we're seeing, but I love to see it, man. The meta is continuing to focus and shift into different ways than what we're used to.
There have been rumors about this Barat's EXP. The question is, I wasn't really expecting it to show up this early on into the tournament, but now we're also seeing what's going to happen on the opposite end, right? Like, the big problem with the Barat's EXP is how do you maintain your stacks consistently, especially both junglers starting on that side of the map, so you don't really have anything to, like, maintain your stacks in the meantime while you're waiting underneath turret or the enemy side.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we'll have to see executed through Kid Bomba. Again, Barrett's XP is not something you see too often, but it's tanky enough. Yes, he's going to struggle a little bit to get some of the stacks, but then again, maybe it's going to result in something where, he's just trying to set up the Daytona's welcome for the team. Again, your crowd control utility on this composition from Team Spirit is just kind of out the roof because you have a choke kick, you have the, the lantern flare and the beacon from Sunset Lover, and this gives a lot of space once again to just funnel things into your jungler and the Hirara. We just saw this earlier today too. If you manage to go ahead and scale crazy fast on a Hirara, and let's say even you to the point where you pick up Sky Pierce and you got 8 stacks, dude, you are a killing machine basically in your own right, and you're hard enough to catch.
Yeah.
So when you're centered around that and you have all the crowd control in the world, that's the difficult part for Ignite Gaming if they want to go ahead and fight this. Now, the Ling for Kelvin can essentially do the same thing, but you're playing into that. Your Lilia does a lot of this early game damage. Eventually, the Brody can scale up as well. So there's a lot more, I feel like, possibilities for Ignite Gaming to make use of.
Speaking of possibilities, I'm thinking whether or not Kid Bomba's entire purpose is to just bog down Diablo, right?
Yeah.
Go for the Daytona's welcome, eat him up, make sure they don't have an access to Throne Ruin. Iframe's already out, Throne Ruin coming through, Flicker, Diablo connects onto 2 as the Daytona's welcome connects as well. Pinning him against the wall, Hiko takes out Jay, but now the Bladed Tempest is out. First blood is done, but there's only so much he can do. Hiko catches him mid-air as his first turtle has turned into a bloodbath.
He looked like a Valkyrie there. I mean, he was in the air and he flickered for the kill, and he got it. 2 kills for Hiko on the gold lane of Freya. That is, once again, just a team-fighting upper hand that we see from Team Spirit. Again, this was a great gleam into the Throne of Ruin setup. Look at the health bars of Team Spirit here. They get so low, and you'd think this is a great point to follow that Tempest Blades, but man, Hiko had his mark and locked down Kelvin.
Really good stuff. Even Kid Bomba was making sure, like, hey, I see Kelvin coming down. I'm going to make an attempt with the Daytona's welcome, despite everything.
Yeah.
I think it's really great, right? It's about denying the follow-up from your opponents. And I think whoever makes that big impact at the very beginning of that fight usually makes the difference here. Despite Diablo having to lose out on a big chunk of EXP, I think it's all right. I mean, he did lose his Flicker, unfortunately, but that doesn't matter. They've got to wait until the next turtle before they're even going to consider another team fight.
Yeah, that team fight basically showed us that kind of this choreography here. As you see it again, the Gleam, the Throne of Ruin being used up. But I feel like even if they land those, they're just not, unfortunately, in that position to go ahead and capitalize it unless Kelvin is there. He's a big part of this. Daytona's welcome, though.
Well, it's already good, and I think they should be able to find a kill here, but the Bladed Tempest will allow Kelvin a way out. Does he still have his pinch points? Yes, he does. And now he's going to exit from this area. I don't think they have the early game damage to make this work.
Yeah.
Kelvin is running the killing spree. He's not running Warcry for the early exceptional damage. And not to mention that even CS has been kind of isolated for a large majority of these fights as well because they can't seem to get the rotations down. Roy, maybe in some trouble. Black Shoes already out here, and that's just the power of this Hirara.
That's one of the scary things, Zara doesn't have to do anything crazy. It's just like he does the combo. You essentially have to pop your Black Shoes, your ultimate, or even, let's say, a Flicker later on. So, that's something to deal with if you're IG, not being able to fight at full force. And what you're noticing, too, Kid Bomba, because he has a Daytona's welcome, and sometimes he's just going for Kelvin, gets the ultimate out of the Ling. You don't have that anymore. And slowly but surely, that's going to delay the Ling further for Kelvin. But they're going to fight it off here. Second turtle is up. He's going to grab his purple buff. We'll see if he gets here in time. It is delayed quite a bit, so IG does a good job at that. Team Spirit, though, they'll calculate this. Again, Hiko's pushing up top. towards that top turret. Here they break out though.
Yep, they're slowly attacking him. Sawo spots out where the backline is supposed to be. Hiko's thinking about maybe going for it, but he's shown presence here on the map. He might start making his way over into the mid lane. Bomba still maintaining his stacks as much as he possibly can here. Throwing a Ruin only connecting onto one, but Sunset Lover is looking to respond. With max stacks on those butterflies, Sawo finds the kick in a perfect angle on top of the glue. Jay should explode here, but he's got nobody to jump on, and Sawo just makes it out with a sliver of health. CS takes him out, and now Hirara looking for an opportunity, but unfortunately just ain't enough, and even flickering form with the Daytona's welcome. Kid Bomba, can he get the trade? Misses out at the very end. Unlucky for Team Spirit, but it's not over apparently. Jay decided to take matters into his own hands.
Okay, I understand what Jay was doing there. They had a whole lot happen for IG in that team fight.
Oh
They
my
really
God, he's about to
punished. Oh,
die.
Calvin. Okay. He survives, stays alive, turtle secure. That's what matters. But again, going back to that fight, it just seemed like Team Spirit was actually not in connection. You know, like they were all going in at different times. They got kind of caught in a bad position, and it was great to see IG punish that. But then, of course, you know, they need to continue building up on that. And that's why I was saying, you know, playing into their cards here, they've got many options to play with. There's a kick once again.
Oh, it looks good now. Okay, Throne of Ruin comes down through. Sawo is in a lot of trouble here. Forces out the conceal. Even Diablo is going to cut him off eventually. He should die, but no, it doesn't seem to be. Kelvin finally finishes him off. Black Shoes has been called as well. These fights are slow and painful, but that's exactly what both sides want.
Yeah, right now too, CS has been able to go ahead and farm up on this Brody. It's going to be a big part of it. You know, earlier on he had the Blade of Hep Seas. He was actually able to do some decent damage just with that one item, but of course, you know, getting those marks off and then that torn apart memory